Hi, this is Dana, and on this channel I speak about spiritual warfare. I have another channel on astrology and a Facebook page on which I wrote prophetic writings for years. I invite you to read those prophetic writings. The usual caveat, there are individuals who are using my identity, impersonating me, in order to do harm on me, to steal from me, but also in order to use my identity to do harm onto others. So please be discerning, don't engage with them in comment section. Now, for this video's topic, I took a break, as you have seen, and of course, as usual, there's a lot of information when I come back because I continuously do research as part of my bondage breaking. And also as part of whatever God decides to share with me, of course. Now, through my research, I found very interesting information which I will partly share with you now. Now, we have been talking, and I have been talking actually, about separation of consciousness, the draconian implant which is created on souls upon incarnation in order to create separation consciousness between subconscious and conscious level. Now, I will, this is not the topic, but I will still review this with you. The image that God has shown to me energetically as I have been investigating this long time ago, is that trauma, first of all, trauma is inflicted, trauma bonding is created in many different ways, many ways. The idea of the trauma is, of course, to block your soul chakra and your heart chakra. This is also why many people nowadays, they don't feel emotions, they don't consider feelings as being important in relations. This is why you have people talking about sex like gym, like it wouldn't be an intimate act or something, like you should be something done randomly and just and the reason for this is that there are many reasons. One of them is because transmutation of dark energy is done from lower chakras to upper chakras towards crown chakra. This is the way you do transmutation. I said this transmutation you do with God in terms of energy work. So you always push it upwards and during prayer. This is why I gave you the mystic prayer meditation. So this is the way you do. Now, if you have a blockage on soul chakra or heart chakra, you cannot transmute darkness. Also, they can bombard your lower chakras with whatever dark energy you have. If you cannot transmute upwards, then you will focus. This is what these individuals do with these ritualic practices. You will focus on a lot of wrong practices of transmuting dark energy from your lower chakras through sex, for example, which is the wrong way to do it. You don't transmute like this. The sex should be part of a intimate relation done with love. It's not a sport. You view it as a sport only because you have your heart and soul chakra blocked. That's your problem and you have to deal with it. Yeah. Unfortunately, many individuals project that onto others and they actually say that this is the way to do it with no feelings, which is not true. Now, the way when the trauma is created, the way your subconscious looks is like a child in a fetus position, traumatized, hurt, right? This is your inner child, the subconscious level, right? Now, the normal status of your subconscious level, it should be integrated with your consciousness. So on your conscious level, you should be able to see your inner child and your subconscious level. This is when you integrate, when you are able to have communication between yourself and the inner child, the subconscious level. On the flip side, for example, one of the advantages is that once you have this integration done, I said before, you are able to stay connected in astral continuously. You don't do it with interruption, and you are an astral presence naturally without any kind of special efforts to do that. Okay, now I know that there are individuals who are doing a lot of wrong practices in order to get into astral, including drugs and other stuff. This is not the way to do it. Just heal the fucking inner wounding if you actually want to be in astral. Anyhow, this is the and that's one thing. You stay in astral connected constantly, which means you see when something is being sent to you, so you can actually defeat that in astral. It won't become a reality for you. Yeah, that's one thing. I already upset someone. Another thing is that when you go to sleep, your subconscious level does spiritual fighting. So on subconscious level, in dream state, nobody can harm you, manipulate you, harvest from you. Nobody can, because and I have seen this with my own eyes, because God has shown to me the difference before and after. In my case, before and after a healing, God has shown to me, actually, you see now your subconscious level is fighting during your sleep time. So basically, you're much more safe, not because of divine protection only, but because your subconscious is healed and is fighting for you. This is the normal status. Yeah. So you need to do the inner healing in order to achieve this, in order for your subconscious level to be able, first of all, to help you, basically. One, to keep you connected to astral so you can actually see what is being done against you ahead of time. Second of all, in order to fight for you when you are in sleep, in dream mode. Yeah. So that's the one side, one issue, the integration of subconscious and the conscious level. Yeah, I already spoke about this. I'm just reviewing now. Now, what I have discovered recently, and this was very interesting for me, is what happens to your higher self, you know. And God has shown to me in recent research, basically, because I think many of us are confronted with this, that there are a few issues that I learned. One, I asked, what happens with these individuals who refuse? Okay, you're going to insist on helping them to redeem themselves, to do repentance, to pay karma, so on and so forth. Now, what if they don't? Because I'm already fed up. How long you keep trying and they don't, and I don't understand why you don't give up. Why this is not ending? What happens for this to end? Because I need to know if this is going to be the rest of our lives or whatever, you know. And God has shown to me the problem is the following. If they keep refusing, literally, they go, of course, in deeper and deeper darkness. They do more and more harm. And at some point, basically, they completely are disconnected from the divine realm. How? By losing touch with their higher self completely. But I don't mean losing touch in sense of not being able to consult your higher self, but I'm saying in sense of literally having no connection, no higher self. That is when the connection with the divine is completely cut off, and is done in certain circumstances, when you have done a lot of harm, when you have been under judgment and punishment, you have been given chances for repentance, you refuse to. And particularly, God has shown to me that also this is part of losing your divine protection. Losing the divine protection is the first step. Then being cut off from the divine is the second step. Then completely losing your higher self is the third step. And I said, okay. One other situation in which they achieve this performance, I would call it, I don't know, because these people just seem too crazy for me. God has said that is when you fight against the divine during blasphemy, during heresy, when you do this, and God has shown to me when you do this not only against God or against Jesus, yeah, but including at a specific circumstance when you do this against messengers of the divine, the chosen ones. Because this was my question: when are we done with these people? Because I want them out of my life completely. I don't want to see them again. Why I'm still wasting time with them? And God has shown to me there is a process, and these are the steps, and including there is a fly around here. I'm sorry, it keeps flying under my objective. So God has shown to me that including after a certain number, so this is the phase when they keep doing harm continuously and disregarding God's invitation to do redemption. At some point, they do a lot of harm and a lot of attacks, and the final decision is to completely disconnect. The higher self refuses to be involved with them anymore. They by then they already lost their soul. So there is a certain number of steps that go in between, but the end of it is that they lose completely control, completely contact with their higher self. And I ask, okay, and then what happens? Then what happens? Because I need to know, I need to understand what is in the future. And God has shown to me that the next step is basically that instead of the higher self, there are certain type of forces which take control over them. And I'm not talking here about the forces to which they pray, the forces to which they worship and they work with. But I'm talking about forces which claim them. And basically, these are different races which have been discarded from Earth. I have seen specifically dinosaurs. Because, for example, as I'm a seer, I can see either your higher, when I talk to you, I can see either your higher self, either overlapping with you or separately if you didn't integrate, or I can see the force which is controlling you. Yeah. And in this case that I was studying, I saw over a certain man a dinosaur, and I said, how come? I never saw this before. And God explained to me, because this is an advanced phase of an individual who refuses to repent and do redemption, has done tremendous harm to the humankind throughout different lifetimes. And this is the process. This is the process. When, and they said, yeah, but where is the higher self? And God said, well, there is no more higher self for him, because he got disconnected because of the attacks he has done on chosen ones, because chosen ones are part of us from the divine realm. So when we consider this also a heresy and against God's will, because God is the one who chose them to do a certain mission, and they basically refuse to allow them to do their mission. They have only one objective: to stop them. We will not allow this endlessly. We allow up for a time only because we know what are the consequences of this individual if he is not paying karma. But if he refuses continuously, there is an end to it. And this is the end. Basically being discarded. And God has shown to me, this is a process done by the universe in cooperation with Earth. And there are many other races like dinosaurs which have been discarded before from Earth. because of doing harm, for the same reason, because they were doing too much harm. Yeah. And literally, and I said, and where do they go now? So they don't go to hell, they don't go to you. Then where do they go when this is done? And God has shown to me that these individuals are not allowed on earth anymore. Basically, they are in cosmos. This is how, like you see an astronaut, in cosmos, but disconnected from earth. They're discarded from earth. They're not allowed on earth anymore, basically. Okay, so that is one of the, I did not know until now that you can actually lose completely your higher self. I did not know this. For me, it was news. I don't know if for you it's news or not, but I hope this is gonna help, or maybe you can do further research on this. But this is the information I got so far. Now, what else God has shown to me regarding this topic is that these people in the convents, they know all this. And for this reason, they always, from young childhood, recruit among them individuals from our lineages. It depends what race, different races, different. I'm not talking in depth now. What I'm saying is that they recruit among themselves and they program these individuals from our lineages. Why? Listen to this, you will see. In order to make them, assign them to do the harm to you, because if somebody from your lineage is doing the generational curse on you and all of the attacks and all of the contracts, then the karma goes to your lineage. So if the other one is also from your lineage and is doing harm on you, even when you break bondage, you still have to pay for the karma which he created for your lineage. And they have done this in order to make sure that the convent doesn't pay the karma. So at the end of the day, you end up fighting to break your bondage, but you're gonna have to fight to break the bondage also of the individual from your lineage who created the bondage on you in the first place. Because they have this system in which they put somebody from your own lineage to do harm on you. So they will make sure that the bondage comes to you, but also the karma comes to your lineage. Yeah. So this is, and I actually think this is important in spiritual fighting. So you'll understand how to plan your fight and how to research whoever is from your lineage engaged in these kind of organizations which are creating basically karma by the harm done on you, but also by the harm done on others. Yeah, because even if it's not your personal karma, you still pick it because of lineage, because you share a lineage with that individual. In my own spiritual fighting, I have seen individuals from my lineage who have done this, exactly what I described now, but I didn't know it's a system. I knew this happened in my case, but I didn't know it's for everybody. God has shown to me that this is happening on a constant basis because it's a policy of these convents. So they won't get the karma. They make one of your lineage to attack you and to create all the bondage on you. Because then you have to fight both the bondage itself, but also the karma built up by that individual who's from your lineage. Yeah? So God has shown me that this is a policy they have. So they do this in all cases. It was not an exception that in my case it happened like so. Yeah. So I think this is important so you can research and you see in your own case what's the situation. Yeah. And also they have someone specialized in these convents because they know all of this information. They know how you lose contact with the divine and your higher self. So they have practices and specific type of bondages which they create, and the attacks, which they create on you in order to push you into taking certain steps, so you will lose contact with your higher self, so you will disconnect from your higher self, to be cut off from the divine realm, so you will in the end be much easier manipulated once you don't have a contact with your, because God showed me in one of my bondage breaking that an individual binded himself at me because he has no contact with the divine realm for many lifetimes, not just now. For many lifetimes he doesn't have contact with the divine realm, and God showed me that he binded himself at me in order to be able to have contact with the divine realm. So they do this through you. Those who actually don't have a connection with their own higher self, they literally bind themselves to you in order to have some sort of dialogue, because once they bind themselves to you, you're like twins, and literally they have a telepathic connection with you. But somehow my light went off. I'm sorry, I'm gonna finish like this. By doing so, they have a telepathic connection with you, and hence through the telepathic connection, when you connect to the divine, they can seize that. And God has shown to me throughout my spiritual fighting, and I said this in the mystic prayer meditation video, that it's not always good to do mystic prayer meditation, because it's a meditation which requires you to open your energetic field a lot. So I said in that video, you must make sure that you do this at the proper time. I used to do this daily, and when I started my spiritual fighting consciously, God asked me not to do it anymore. And God said, you will be able to learn different ways to connect with us and to transmute, and you're not in enough safety, so you can actually do mystic prayer. Yeah. So just so you'll understand, so they have people in these convents who know how to do this, and they will push you into doing the certain things which actually generate exactly this, namely they disconnect you from the higher self and from the divine. Yeah. So now of course you have to research for yourself what from this information applies to you. I found it interesting because it sheds light on how they work, how tricky they are, and on many aspects, depending on what you're interested in. I hope this information is useful to you, and I hope you will apply it in at least asking questions and checking what exactly applies to you, to your circumstance, okay?